Batman Curse of the White Knight issue 1, Sean Murphy on well, art and
Everything
writing.
except
Yeah.
covers.
Everything. Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, so vampires are going to be a factor
It,
in this plot.
this because I finished reading this and I had to tell Tim immediately. It's like, Tim, Murphy's doing Castlevania just with
Guys.
for the Bat family.
Guys, we're getting American Vampire shit in Batman. All right.
He's got a whip. He's got the Castlevania
He's got a
whip.
made out of bat leather.
Bat leather.
This is so
Oh my
cool.
god. This is exactly my shit.
When this opened with like Lord Wayne fighting against like some old Arkham vampire, I'm like,
What?
this is delightful.
Okay, so if it would have opened and he would have been Simon Wayne, we would have had to buy an issue for Tim, right?
Yeah.
Like, just... So, the reason I love American Vampire so much is for what it did with the history, with like, real-life history plus vampires.
Sure.
And now, we all know I love the history of Gotham, and that's some of my favorite stuff in Batman. Now we're adding vampires to the history of Gotham and the struggle between the Waynes and Arkham and all of this stuff. And you're interjecting the stuff that had happened in White Knight to this now. I can't. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
And now you're getting the Order of St. Dumas, and how does that factor in here?
The grizzled old John Paul Valley just being psychotic.
Yeah. Also, he has cancer. He's dying.
Yep. And I love how he's like, "Oh, he quit smoking." And they're like, "Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't have, because it's coming for you anyways."
They're like, "Well, you served in the military. Yeah, any exposure to some tactical level chemicals? Can't know about that."
No, and also, like, you looked at Azrael was his nickname in the military for whatever reason, and he gets this prognosis and he goes back to the church and he's helping, and the priest is like, "You don't have to do this, Jean Paul." He's like, "No, but it makes me feel better." And so you right there, you get a better read on Jean Paul than I've had in decades. Like, he's not this, dyed in the wool religious fanatic. He's someone that wants to make his community better. And who comes to mess all that up? The goddamn Joker. Yeah.
Joker throwing him the sword.
Yeah.
And being the voice of God, essentially.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Which that's you don't want. Yeah, right? You don't want Joker as the voice of God. So this starts in Gotham in the 1600s, and I had to read a couple times because you got Lord Wayne running a sword through an Arkham, and I was like, does he got fangs and claws? Holy shit, that's a legit vampire.
At first I was like, is this a vampire? And I was like,
yeah,
maybe Murphy's just playing up some evil characteristics just to kind of. But no, it's a vampire, sure as shit.
And so you find out that this Wayne, I forget his name, we'll call him Lord Wayne. He was the first Wayne in Gotham, and he had something to do with Arkham. He comes and slays him. I hope that Bruce now in I'm gonna call this the Murphyverse. In the Murphyverse, comes from a long line of vampire hunters, so it's completely ironic that he becomes the Bat, right?
Yeah.
And you find out that Arkham, like, this manor had stood in Gotham, when what would become Gotham, in this valley, for decades. Then it became a fort, and then after the fort, it became Arkham Asylum, and that where this Arkham fell became a well that was then boarded up, and so Joker comes back to Arkham, not wanting to be called Napier. Like, he's like, that was a completely different person.
That wasn't me. He undermined all the terrible things I've done.
Right, and I hate that. And he gets, so where it left off at is this Batman fun is actually going to where it should be, and that there might be a little bit truth to what Napier was saying about, even though he was manipulating a lot of stuff.
But the idea that the people at Arkham were letting villains go to cause chaos, so they could buy up all the property cheap.
Right, and that Arkham, they had to ship everybody out, and because it's actually under renovations to make it an actual mental hospital, you know?
Yeah, a psychiatric facility rather than a
Right.
dilapidated castle.
And so I guess he's the warden, whoever he is. Joker, you know, is like, hey, I'm not here to do anything bad. I just need you to let me into my old cell. And he's like, wait, Joker, you spent all your time trying to get out. Now you're trying to get in. And he's like, no, I have my reasons. So he takes him to a cell, and you find out this cell is where Joker considers himself born, and that there's something there. And the warden lets him in, and he's like, well, we can't have this go perfectly clean, so come here, buddy. Yeah. And the warden survives, much to his detriment, because that's how Batman is able to piece this together.
Does. But even immediately, he's like, hey, try not to get too much blood elsewhere. I don't want Batman poking around in my cell. Like, he knows there's something there for him to find. Like, this birth of Joker is something literal.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and you have Gordon talking about Batman. He's like, hey, look, I know you're reeling from the death of Alfred, but you can't be doing this anymore. We got, you know, I'll let you have this one because it's Joker, and we kind of need your help. But like, you really kind of have to give it up or join the task force, you know. And even Dick pressures Bruce into that, and he's like, you kind of, you know, have served your purpose, Bruce. Gotham's changing.
I think there's a point there where he shows his worth still. You know, Gordon's like, hey, can you get it out of this guy before the lawyers come?
Yep.
And he just screams at him, and he's terrifying because this version of Batman is scary as shit.
Right. And so Alfred, in his note to Bruce, leaves him. He goes, hey, I know this is going to be hard for you because you push everybody away, but I would never leave you. And, you know, I know this is going to be a tough time for you.
Yeah.
Go under my floorboard. There's something that you need to see.
Yeah.
He goes to this floorboard, and there's this, you know,
box, little chest.
Yeah, like a chest. And we don't really get to see what's in it. But we know that it has some kind of value to Alfred, and it's been in the Wayne family for centuries. And then we get the stuff with Azrael that we were talking about earlier. And, you know, he's got cancer. But we find out what Joker pulled from the cell is the sword. And it looks like it was the same sword that was ran through the Arkham vampire.
I assume so, yeah. I assume it's been sat there the whole time.
And as Joker, and it's this glorious scene where Joker, as the voice of God, goes to Jean Paul, and you know, the oil's dripping over this brazier. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it catches the sword on fire, and he plugs it out, and it's a flaming sword. And that basically Joker tells him that he needs to serve Gotham and correct these sins of the past. And there's been one family that has cursed Gotham from the beginning, and it's Bruce Wayne, and that now he must be smited. But yeah, oh man, I love this book. If you guys can't tell, the art, like,
there's a couple of beats that really land is you know, the note from Alfred, where he's like, oh, by the time you're reading this, if you're reading this, you've already come back around. You know, you've got the family there with you. Dick and Barbara are at your side, and he's just completely alone, and it's kind of sad.
No one there. Yep, and that's where the bat signal comes, and Gordon needs to talk to him, and stuff. So it's like Bruce coming to terms with, like, this mission has cost him his relationships, and like now, even as close as he was with Gordon, it's now kind of just a work relationship. And that's it.
Yeah, and Bruce doesn't want to believe in the vampire story because he's showing Babs that, oh, hey, in the chest I got the diary, I got the whip, and Babs is like, wait, that dude's a vampire, and Bruce is like, just a story, come on, and Babs is like, vampire.
Well, and that's another thing I skipped over until I just pulled it back up. There was a rhyme about the what's his name? It's Arkham.
Laffy, something like that.
Lafayette Arkham. And that they used to say it every, you know, Commissioner Gordon would tell it to Barbara every Halloween to scare the shit out of them as kids. But there's like, it's just an urban legend. Like, it's not true. So again, I like that layer of that.
Yeah. But we know it's true, and Batman's going to have to be a vampire hunter.
Yep. And so this was the children's poem that where's it at? Laffy Arkham, the vampire from the old children's poem. Every kid in Gotham knew it. Laffy Arkham in the wood, eating the children when he could, underneath a moon of blood swept away before the flood. And when you jump back to the past stuff,
yeah,
it talks about there's something dark in that forest that turned Arkham there, and that it's gonna overrun Gotham. And Lord Wayne's like, not on my watch.
Yeah.
So again, I was getting shades, and I thought it was just the Murphy stuff at first, right? Like, oh no, he's overplaying the evilness there, and it looks like Lord Wayne's got someone from the Order with him, right? Like,
yeah,
dude
he's in the robe. He's got the sign,
right? And so we were talking about like vampire hunters, and like I didn't even make the Castlevania thing until you told Tim, and I was like, oh shit, a whip.
As soon as I saw the whip, I was like, holy shit, they're just doing Castlevania.
Yep. So I'm hoping Dracula shows up, because Dracula versus Batman is money. I was already into this beforehand because of Murphy. I didn't enjoy White Knight that much. But now you get into the history of Gotham, you're getting vampires, you're getting, Bruce doubting himself, which I'm always a fan of. So I hate when Batman always,
there'll be a lot of Bruce trying to prove that it's just mortal men the whole time, but no, there actually is vampires and shit going on.
And you got Joker playing the sides against themselves, that whatever this evil is, which is this is where I think the story's going. Whatever the evil is was speaking to Joker in the cell, right? And that this evil knows that Wayne and the Order have to basically fight each other so they don't pay attention to the darkness. And this darkness is what's going to overrun
and it's got
Gotham.
a vendetta against the Waynes, so...
Right. So,
yeah.
for ending it back in the 1600s. But yeah, you took the best stuff of American Vampire, the stuff I love about Batman. It's made a perfect diagram here. I thought the first one would be hard to top, but so far, one issue in, I'm way more excited than I was at the end of the first.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to go this route, but
me neither. Because we talked about Curse, and I just thought, like, oh, this is going to be another Batman story of him having to deal with Gotham and what that means.
It's the curse that he is stuck with the burden of defending Gotham.
And it's like, oh, no, he's... The Waynes messed... No, I won't say messed up. The Waynes created the situation that the Waynes must always protect Gotham. And now, by him embracing the Bat, this is how he's protecting Gotham. Because you even had Thomas was a doctor, right? And throughout the time, we play with that, even Morrison did it in The Return of Bruce Wayne. So yeah. So between the Jimmy Olsen stuff from that first issue, the history of Metropolis, to now we're going here with the history, I'm a mark for this kind of stuff.
I never would have guessed.
No, never, right? So, and Pete silenced me.
I feel like Pete didn't enjoy this as much as we did.
Honestly, Matt just started going and just took over describing the plot, and I was waiting for him to take a breath at some point, and he just never did. So I've been sitting here silently for about maybe close to 10 minutes at this point.
Sorry.
Just waiting for my opening, because you two are so goddamn enthusiastic that there was just no point. I actually quite liked this issue. This is way better than the last one, because it's not doing this stupid Joker plot that I hated. So it's fine. Do just some random vampire thing. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, when I first got this, I was like, Pete has to read this. I'm going to do what I can to make him read the first issue.
You get it.
Pete, it's got vampires. Yeah, but I didn't want to ruin that, because I wanted people to go into this not knowing, like I did, right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
didn't expect a vampire plot. So, I feel like Tim would definitely want to read it more if he knew there was vampires.
Yeah, which is why I told him. Because I was like, Tim, you clearly don't know this. So, you need to know this.
Honestly, my only critique of the whole issue is the note that Alfred leaves Batman. I didn't read because the font was horrible and I wanted no part of it.
I'll give you that was a horrible font. I struggled. There was a few times where I was reading a line, I was like, I don't know what that says, and I was like making a guess, and then reading the rest of the sentence and going, okay, that's what that must have said.
I think I'm going to end up liking this one more than the first one, just because it's not the Joker plot that I had problems with.
Yeah.
obviously Murphy's art's lending well to all this Castlevania stuff. Babs and Dick's inclusion I enjoyed again. Batman wanting to just reveal who he is to everyone, because Gordon knows who he is now. And
that's the other thing I missed.
yeah. He was like, and Babs is like, no, you can't do that. Like, that's just, just join the team. Like, that's, don't do this. So, no, like, I'm fairly positive on it. I'm not gushing about it, like certain people on this podcast may be. But
this is proof for all people that say that I just hate Batman because he's more popular than Superman. That's not true. There are elements of Batman I do enjoy. And this has them all in one go. So
there's elements of Batman I enjoy. When does he fight vampires? I'm into it.
I mean, really, any character can fight vampires, and I'm into it. But I'm talking like the history of Gotham. Doubting Bruce.
All right, what are you rating them at?
9.5.
Gee, okay.
I'm out the gate.
Yeah, I'm going 9.5 as well.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I literally couldn't get a word in. I went quiet for like 10 minutes because you two assholes just kept gushing.
Well, you should have joined us in the gushing.